Hello there, and welcome to the basement. I imagine by this point we have all heard enough of the rumors and leaks to have a bit of an idea of what we can expect from Deadpool 3. I also imagine that most of us are pretty hyped up about what we've heard so far. I know I am. I am so ready for that movie. Deadpool 3 is the only Marvel movie that is an actual MCU movie that's coming out next year. Sony is releasing 3 of their Marvel movies next year as well. Those are Madam Web on February 14th. Ooh, happy Valentine's Day on that one. Kraven the Hunter on August 30th. And Venom 3 on November the 8th. Not much to get hype about with that list. Maybe Venom 3, but that's about it. What all this amounts to is we really only have Deadpool to be excited about next year. And so far, at least as far as Marvel movies go. Again, we've heard a lot of really dope rumors that, on the surface at least, are causes for excitement. We all expect it to make a ton of money and start the road to recovery for the MCU. There is still a huge question we have to ask ourselves, though. The answer to which could massively affect MCU nerddom going forward. So smash that like button and let's get into what could be the defining moment of the MCU. As I spoke about a little bit ago, we expect huge things out of Deadpool 3. Making astronomical box office, bringing back fans, returning the MCU to form. Everything we've heard tells us this is so. But, and this is a huge but, pause. This is the biggest question, and at this point, a highly relevant one. That question is, what if it fails? What will be the fate of the MCU then? What will we as nerds have to look forward to? These are huge concerns, and based on the last few years of MCU content, legitimate concerns. However, before we can get into potential repercussions of failure, we must define what would constitute Deadpool 3 being a failure. So, what are the traditional signals that a movie is a failure? Well, one of the earliest ones we have is tracking of pre-sales. Low pre-sales in general signal a lower box office. These pre-sales figures allow for opening weekend predictions. One of the expectations we have for Deadpool 3 is for it to make at least $1 billion. To help with perspective and context, here are the opening weekend totals that MCU movies that made at least $1 billion had at the box office. Spider-Man No Way Home opened at $260 million globally, made $1.9 billion. Almost got that $2 billion. Almost. Spider-Man Far From Home opened at $92.5 million, but finished with $1.1 billion. Nice comeback, yo. Endgame, $357 million to open, $2.78 billion globally at the end. Captain Marvel opened at $153 million, ended up making $1.1 billion. Although I still believe that's more due to placement than the quality of the movie in and of itself. Infinity War, $257 million to open, made over a little over $2 billion. It cracked the $2 billion. Black Panther opened at $202 million, ended up getting $1.3 billion in total gross. So as you can see, outside of Far From Home, you're not cracking $1 billion without getting close to a $200 million opening weekend. Now, the opening weekend predictions are just that. They're predictions. However, it won't be a good sign if Deadpool 3 is tracking to open at less than $150 million. The next early indicator of how a movie will probably perform is Rotten Tomatoes. I know they've had some shady things come out, and a lot of people don't like them, but they're still the biggest reference point. I, for one, don't care anywhere near as much about the critic score as I do the audience score, but they are both important, especially because we get the critic score first. It's an unfortunate truth that there's still a lot of people that care about the critic score, even though most comic book movies aren't noted for their critical acclaim. It's also an unfortunate truth that you need those people in order for a movie to crack $1 billion. I think the audience score is much more important, but there is no escaping the need for a decent critic score as well. Finally, we get into the actual opening weekend box office. As we saw earlier, you basically, but not necessarily, need to make $200 million in the opening weekend for a movie to crack $1 billion or more in total gross. And again, we expect Deadpool 3 to make $1 billion. So what if it doesn't? What if it only gets to $140 million in its opening weekend? What if it only grosses 750 to 800 million in total? Does that mean Deadpool 3 is a failure? What is the dollar amount that is the cutoff point between success and failure? For me, for what the hype level already is, and frankly, for what we need that movie to be for the fans and the future of the MCU, it needs to crack $1 billion to be a success. That means it more than likely, not guaranteed, but more than likely needs a $200 million opening weekend to not fail. Can it still hit $1 billion if it doesn't open with at least $200 million? Oh yeah, it can. Is it likely? No, it's not likely. Not if it comes in that low. We need to see those kinds of numbers for this movie to be a true success. Now that we've established what the threshold for success is, what happens if it does indeed fail? The first thing that will happen is that any last remnant of casual/normie fandom will be gone. Probably forever. They were never invested in the MCU beyond the surface level, so they'll have zero problem saying, fuck this, and dipping out. That leaves the rest of the fandom. I think that all that will be left are the Marvel worshippers who don't care about what they get as long as they get Marvel content. There will be, of course, the people that just like to hate watch and tear everything down. And the last group will be those of us who just want dope Marvel content and refuse to let go of hope. If this fails, Marvel will never see a $1 billion movie again. I know there's still Secret Wars, but if Deadpool 3 fails, there won't be enough fans left for even that movie to crack $1 billion. In my opinion, while the success of Deadpool 3 won't be enough to save the MCU, its failure can certainly kill it. What do you think, though? Will Deadpool 3 fail? What circumstances would constitute a failure in your mind? What do you think will happen to the MCU if Deadpool 3 fails? Please tell me your thoughts in the comments section below. And also, don't forget to drop a like on this video. And while you're at it, hit that subscribe and notification bell so you don't miss my new videos when they drop. Or so you don't miss out on my live stream, which happens every Saturday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Thank you for watching this video. And like I always say, there's always a good time to be had when you're chilling in the basement.